Well, hello, good people and Eagle fans. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. We have, of course, the funny thing is back in the day, we didn't have the amount of coverage that we do these days. We see every play. Anytime somebody gets a hangnail, we see it, and it goes out the blogosphere, and it's the worst thing in the world. We see a bad play in practice, not the games, and we go off, and it's like, oh, these guys are bums. And so you have practice because you want to perfect. You want to, in practice, try different things to find out what works, because different players do different things differently. Some players are good at one thing, they're not good at another. And so practice is where you want to iron these things out to get better. And this is the first practice that's close to as live as you're going to get during the training camp, because you can't really tackle and do everything, and you're playing against another team. So I want to go to Brian Schottenheimer. Now, we've got Milton apparently hit a helmet with his finger. They're not real concerned with it. He didn't finish practice. They were a bit sloppy. There were a bunch of penalties and things, but we're still early on in training camp, and, of course, there's no Micah. But we also have, and I love this because we had the cow turd, okay? Colin Cowherd, who has been going after Brian Schottenheimer because he wears a hat backwards. And before I get to, let me. I think this is it. Let me play this, because the cow turd. Anything when it comes to anything with the Cowboys, it's the worst thing in the world. Okay, if somebody else were to do this, then it would be the greatest thing in the world, wearing his hat backwards. Oh, he's young, he's fresh, he's hip hop, he's relating to the players. He's relaxed, okay? That's what they would say. Oh, but it's the Dallas Cowboys, and so it's bad. Listen to the cow turd.
I don't like backward hats. What's worse is a backward visor. That's a 2-win team. I'm taking away 4 wins.
2 wins.
That's awful. That is so bad.
If you see a guy wearing a backwards visor, you think one word, it's inappropriate for TV. But, could you hang with, if I rolled up to play golf with you and I had the backwards visor on, would you just pretend like you don't know me, Colin?
I would just say, and I know everybody gets mad at this, I only really care, for instance, Bank of America is behind him. It's a big sponsor. Yeah. And so I do think if you're the head coach or the quarterback of an organization and you do press conferences, you're not only representing yourself, that's very selfish and narcissistic, you are representing the Dallas Cowboys, and you're representing Bank of America. That's probably a huge team sponsor. They probably paid $8 million or something like that, $7 million to the Cowboys, or some big money deal. So I tend to think, here's what men do very poorly. Men often don't think of others in social situations. It's how do I look, and how I think women tend to be.
Let me just get rid of this shit. Okay. So don't pay Micah. Brian Schottenheimer is a joke, and they're going to be a 2-win team. A 2-win team. Okay. All right. So book that down. Okay? Book that. So let's go to Brian Schottenheimer, who does have a lot to answer for the first practice against the Rams before the scrimmage this weekend. Let's go to the tape.
Doing? Oh, sorry, Colin. Let me turn my hat around.
Yeah. Love it.
guys did that. Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Saw Joe Milton didn't finish practice. What happened there?
Yeah, his thumb got it clipped on a helmet. Trainers think he's fine. He had pretty good strength in it, but just with the game coming up in a couple of days, we just want to be smart with it. So do more testing, but I think he's fine.
Say fine as of right now, or is it just like we need more work before you can determine about?
No, again, they feel really good about it. I'll get more information later today, but he felt like he could go back in. It was more of a precautionary thing where like he used up a lot of his velocity on that 75-yard bomb, and we're like, I think we'll just sit him out for a little while.
Thoughts overall on the scrimmage? I know it's hard for you to be on both fields, but just your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I thought it was great work. I mean, I told you guys yesterday, part of the reason why you do this is because of the scheme looks that you get. Like, we need different looks. We need the 3-4 looks. We needed some of the things that Chris Shula and his staff do and they present. And quite honestly, they gave us some fits, and we had some communication errors. And, run game wasn't great on offense. Some of the run-through linebackers, we got to do a better job against that. But we got a bunch of work and a bunch of different looks, and so like anything, we'll go watch the film here in a little bit, and usually it's not as bad or as good. I think a couple of the guys stepped up, made some big plays, but there's always things to learn from. But don't lose sight of why we do this. We do this for that exact reason, to get looks that we haven't seen, and different blitzes and all that stuff. And then of course I didn't see any of the defense.
Cowboys.
You're in the back. Damn it.
Anyway,
You want to sit on the stage?
yeah.
You normally do.
Well, I do that before you get.
Okay.
But is there anything that you focused on? You talk about the run offense and things like that. And certainly we were paying attention to Nate Thomas once against a guy like Jerry Burks for the first time. Can you talk about those things? How did Nate look?
Yeah, I thought, again, Verse is a great player, number one. He's a terrific player, and he certainly is going to make his plays. He made a few plays. I think a couple of the plays were on, like, games and things, but I thought Nate battled. I thought there were some good things that he did. And, again, those reps, Clarence, are just priceless because the guys he goes against every day, Sam Williams and Donovan and Dante, they're just different looks and different body types. And but overall, I thought it was a good day. Again, I'm not going to say we played great. We didn't. I thought it was solid. But, we'll go and make the corrections. And great start for us getting ready to play these guys here in a couple of days.
Brian Connors with ESPN. That was the most work Will Greer's gotten. How do you think he did? And what kind of camp, I guess? Yeah, again, Will's been incredible in terms of just the way he's handled this whole situation, understanding that, Joe's going to get, so much work. And just as we try to develop him, I thought he did a really good job. The 2-minute was unfortunate at the end. He kind of got stuck, and we didn't block something well. They beat us on a little game, and he kind of tried to force it, got intercepted. But Will's a consummate pro, man. And, he's always going to be ready. Same thing. We weren't planning on having him get, many reps at all today. That was communicated to him, as you guys know. We like to always do, but that's what happens. That's football. So you get forced into it, and I thought he did some nice things and definitely understands our scheme so well.
I'm sure with the Athletic, if you could just fix one thing about the run game today, what would it be?
The run-throughs, handling run-through linebackers. So what happens when you're double-teaming people? John, what happens is the linebackers, they have to make a decision. And so the linebackers were playing fast and downhill, and they were fitting their gaps. It's all based on how you try to build a wall on defense. And we just got to play with our eyes up a little bit better. We got fit on the double teams, but we didn't come off to the second level. So there's too much color at the point of attack.
And then with Devontae Turpin, how much do you think that he has kind of still in his bag to show offensively compared to like what he's shown up to this point in his NFL career?
Well, we see, a lot. We see it every day, so we're not surprised by it. But guy's just a dynamic weapon, and the things he can do, running and catching, and the quickness and the agility that he has is just different. And I think we feel like we've got a much better sense for how we're using him. And late in practice today, we kind of moved him and moved CD outside, and Terp went inside, and those guys are a little bit interchangeable. But yeah, he's. I think he's going to have a fabulous year. I really do in every facet.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. I know you're keeping it fairly vanilla, but your first time with CD and Pickens against a defense that's not your own. What did you make of what they did as a tandem?
You see the problems that they create. I think they both made some really good plays. You see their ability to, separate contested balls and things like that. Again, we're not game planning. We're literally being pretty vanilla. But those guys, you don't have to do much to get them open. And, I think there was a lot of flags thrown today, so we'll go look at those. There's we told the officials, hey, that some of the rules emphasis with alignments and things like that, we want you to, throw the flags, keep track so we can talk to our guys and teach them, because more than likely that's the way they're going to call the preseason games. But specifically those two guys, I think they just feed off each other. And, it shows you that when you have one on one side and one on the other, it's pretty daunting for a defense.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, you talked about kind of the run offense wanting to be kind of your identity. It kind of seemed like the run opened up a little bit more after some passing success. Do you feel like maybe with, like you were just talking about, Lamb and Pickens, maybe building through the pass first, then getting to the run identity-wise for you guys offensively?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I feel like this, Garrett. I mean, you need to be able to run the ball when they know you're going to run it, and you need to be able to throw it when they know you have to throw it. And I thought we had a great 2-minute drive there at the end with the ones. That was really good. And, I think those guys certainly help you. Why do they help you? Because, if teams want to play us, an 8-man front or a 7-man front, which means one high defense. You guys all know that. Then those guys are on the outside one-on-one. And, you feel really good about those two guys' ability to win their matchups one-on-one. And, again, we could potentially get some light boxes because of the threat that we have on the outside.
Joe White, Dallas Morning News. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but the chance to go against these guys, then watch film, and then get a chance to maybe apply some lessons learned. How much of an opportunity is that in the immediate turnaround?
It's great. Again, it's great. We play, these guys are a 3-4 defense. We play Baltimore, they're a 3-4 defense. So you get a couple of it back-to-back. Everybody plays different nickel packages, but like these guys have different blitzes that, we haven't seen, and you don't know some of the numbers. We haven't game plan. We don't, I can't tell you, who number 47 is for them. I have no idea. So like those present problems for you, which we'll certainly have a better idea who we're going against on game day. But today it was more about us, and it was just, hey, let's see what we do. Throw the ball out there and see what happens. Did some good things, need to do some things better.
How much was scripted today, and how much was kind of an adjustment?
I think we scripted 3 periods and we had 3 call-its. So it was basically half and half.
Harry Scruggs, NBC5 Dallas. Can you speak to Mozzie's health, and did you get a chance to pay attention at all out here, and what did you see?
I did not. I know that, we're not concerned about Mozzie. He got some tests run, but again, I wasn't concerned. But again, I can't speak, to what he did over there today. We'll go watch the film here tonight, but we're not overly concerned about it.
Okay, Mozzie's okay.
When you were going through your process, talking with Matt Eberflus about how you wanted the full operation to run practice, building an ecosystem together, did you lean on anything that he had previously experienced, or as a head coach, or did you lean on anything that he wished he would have known when he first started the head job? Yeah, first of all, Flus is amazing. I mean, he's got great insight for me. He's been a head coach. He's been a head coach that was the play caller, right? So there's incredible knowledge that he has there. Of course, there's things that he's like, hey, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. I go back to the start when we were doing the staff. I mean, just the nightly meetings, him and I watching film and talking through philosophy and talking through, how as a coach, your resume is really what the film looks like. So you turn the film on, but, some of the, just the philosophical things that we've talked about, there really wasn't, a ton of things for us to iron out. He and I see the game very similarly, and the intensity and the style of his defense is great. I don't know if we created any turnovers today or not on defense, but because of the 2 separate fields. But I love having him. He's a hell of a coach, and again, a guy that I lean on quite a bit. As you guys were talking, that you felt his experience level, having done this, and being a high caliber of a defensive play caller, take anything off your plate that you can funnel into other areas and spending your energy in other areas? No, I mean, not at this moment. Again, I don't have to go in the defensive room that often. I'm in there some. I know it's in good hands. It's a veteran staff. Andre Curtis, David Overstreet, a lot of these guys have been with them. White Cotton. I'll watch it with them, tonight, obviously. But no, I mean, I have great, confidence in Matt. He communicates well to me, and like I said, we see the game the same way. So that's important.
Michelle Montaigne, WBA. Coach, how did it feel for you being out there calling plays again, and then for the first time, like, for your team?
Yeah, it was fun. It's always fun. You know, you get a chance to do this, and you've done it for a long time, but you get just kind of lost in the moment. You know, like, okay, hey, what down and distance is it? Okay, what's the situation? Okay, who's in the game? But look, at the end of the day, it's it's something that you think about when you get the job, and you think about doing it. But when you're out there doing it, instincts take over, and you just call the game. And again, I think I had some plays I liked, some I didn't. But again, at the end of the day, I wanted to see if we could, get physical late, and I thought we did that in some of the red zone stuff. But the film will come to life and tell me more when I get a chance to watch it.
Eric Williams, Fox Sports. Coach, wanted to circle back to Pickens. What was your evaluation of how he played in the red zone, and how will his role continue to evolve as you kind of put together the identity of the offense?
Yeah, he caught 2 touchdowns. One, I think, they called OPI. The other one I couldn't tell was a bang play. The defender came up with the ball, but again, the matchup, the size, the ability for him to separate when he's covered, is really impressive. And again, the more he and Dak spend time together doing things like that, he's a guy that you have to lean a safety over there. I mean, you have to. I mean, he's too dangerous. And so, again, just his catch radius, his length it's almost second to none. I mean, he just, he came down with one. We ran a little deep curl, and the receiver, the DB was all over, but he's a big man. And so, again, he just gets more and more confident every day in the things that we're doing, the system and the scheme. And I think that's important because, again, we want to make sure we can move CD around, put him in different spots. And, with what GP's shown, I think that's not going to be a problem at all.
Jeff Colbert. Well, that's just about the end of it. We do have an injury settlement. It's official. Paris Campbell has been. We've made it. Excuse me. Let me start over. Injury settlement for Paris Campbell. He is officially released from the Dallas Cowboys. All right, you good people. As always, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you soon. Peace out.